another edition of Stogie Review Video Review. And as usual, I'm your host, Walt, and back for another weekly cigar review. And before I get into what cigar we're smoking today, just want to give you a little heads up. These reviews may be a little scarce. You should see them on the site weekly, but if you're a YouTube watcher, chances are you might see them piecemeal. You know, one or two might show up early in the week. You know, you may not see another one for a week or two, and that's all because of the move that I'm going through very soon. So until I'm absolutely sure when my cable hookup's going to be for my high-speed internet access, I really have no way of getting the videos up on the site. So I'm trying to kind of stockpile them right now, and I should be able to get them up once a week, but I can't promise that. So I'm going to try to get enough of them done right now to cover me for a week or two. But there's probably going to be a little bit of a lapse on when you see these reviews. But anyway, this week's review is on the Bolivar from the Dominican Republic. And when I think of Bolivar, this is not the cigar that I think of. I've been smoking the Bolivar Cafradias for quite some time now, and really enjoyed that cigar. And it wasn't until recently when I just kind of came across these on the JR website. I was going to order some more Cafradias, and I happened to see these, and kind of got a little confused because when you look around on the web, you usually find a lot of these and not so many Cafradias. So it really kind of confused me. These came out in the middle of 2005. And as I said, they're made in the Dominican Republic, not in Cafradia, Honduras, like the other ones, which are the old Bolivar Fuertes. As far as the Parliament's Pocket Cyclopedia is concerned, it's the old Fuerte blend with a new name. But just kind of wetting the cap there. I'm going to use my scissors again. But I got a little bit of notes for you. This is the Lonsdale size. It's a 45 by 6.5. It's the wrapper's San Agustin Ligero. The fillers are from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The binder is, I'm going to really butcher this one, Havana Medio Tiempo. And these are made in the General Cigar Dominicana factory in Santiago, Dominican Republic. The price point on these kind of vary a little bit. The box price on the Lonsdale from JR Cigars is $76.95, and if you were going to get a 5-pack, it looks like the Churchill size is the only available size, so you kind of have to go up a little bit, and that'll be $18.75. And I got these at my local shop for $3.50 a piece, and they were on special. They were $3.50 a piece, buy two get one free. Apparently these aren't very big sellers for him, so he was kind of clear out what he had left. So everything got heavily discounted, and I ended up buying a bunch of them just because I was so used to the Cafradias that I wanted to give these a shot, and go from there. But anyway, I'm going to open up the cap here. Nice and easy. The draw is pretty free. It's got a little bit of a sweet flavor to it. A little bit of tobacco in my mouth there. And the draw is really nice. Before I go ahead and light it, you get sort of almost like a coffee flavor from the wrapper. It's kind of nice. The it's not the best looking wrapper out there. It's kind of lumpy. It's got lots of oily specks, which is always nice, but it's kind of lumpy. There's some veins running throughout it. It looks kind of dry. When you feel it, there's a couple of soft spots here and there. For the most part, it feels firm, but there are some definite hollow spots or soft spots. And but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and light this bad boy up, and we'll get started. Now, this is supposedly the powerhouse of the Bolivar line. This is supposed to be more full-bodied and full-flavored than the Cafradias that I'm accustomed to. So, keep that in mind as we go through this review. Well, lighting it took a little bit of persuasion, but got it all evenly lit now. Volume of smoke's decent right off the bat. It's it's a little dry on the palate, but you know, we're just starting out, so you know that may change. It's about medium bodied. It's got like a woody flavor, so right from the start. But anyway, I'm not gonna really get into what the cigar is doing until I get a little bit further in. Then we can really determine, you know, what's going on. And well, before I sit back and get further into this, my apologies for the noise. If you happen to hear the fans, I got 2 fans running. We had a little bit of a thunderstorm come through, knock out the power for a little bit, but it's like incredibly hot under these lights. It's very humid. It's about 10:30 at night, but I've got the fans on to try to move as much air as possible, so that I'm not like dripping in sweat from these halogen lights. Anyway, so my apologies if it sounds like I have a turbine engine going behind me, but you know, I just gotta deal with it this time around. But anyway, I'm gonna smoke a little bit more of my Bolivar Lonsdale, and I will be back in just a second. Welcome back. As you can see, I'm getting underway on the first third, and something I wanted to point out before the ash falls off. Sometimes I get strange looks because I really pay a lot of attention to the burn line in the ash. And if you remember, back when we did the characteristics of the cigar and I was pinching it, I said that it felt like there was a couple of soft spots in there. I actually said a hollow spot in there at one point. But you actually see it in the wrapper. I took some pictures of it. We'll see how well it shows up. But actually, right there, it's coming up as a dark spot on the camera. There's kind of a void missing in the ash. All the way around the cigar looks good. You know, it's got that outer ash just like it should, except for when you hit that void. You know, it goes pretty deep, and it's a considerable void. But just thought I would point that out and give you a little more reason to really pay attention to your burn lines and your ash. You know, sometimes interesting things turn up. But anyway, the ash is holding on pretty firm. It's about average gray. You know, it's not light, it's not dark. It's kind of banded looking. You know, light and dark spots running throughout. It's fairly firm. I had to kind of force it off a little bit there. As you can see, the volume of smoke is still really good. I'm getting a lot of dense smoke. It's type of smoke that again, it's easy to blow smoke rings, kind of get through your sinuses. It's easy to move around. It feels, you know, thick and dense. It does leave you with the feeling that it's coating your mouth. The finish is dry. The best way I can explain it is it's like a slight case of cottonmouth. It just feels like your mouth is dry. And not only does it get you in the front of your mouth, it gets you all the way back in your throat too. And that's a characteristic of cigars that I really don't like that flavor profile or that type of finish. It's smooth. There isn't any harshness or bite to it. The base flavor is still it's more of a woody component, and I can taste some Connecticut tobacco in there. And the reason I know I can taste it is because I usually attribute that a little bit of a dryness to it, and it's just one of those flavors that I don't like, and it's easy for me to key in on it. But you know, overall, it's not doing too bad right now. After you take a puff and you set the cigar down in the ashtray, it does put off a considerable amount of resting smoke. It is burning a little fast. It's staying cool, so the accelerated burn's not really a problem so far. I can imagine it being a problem once the cigar gets really short, but you know, for the meantime, I really don't have anything to worry about there. So, oh, by the way, I am drinking this with water. It's that dry that I'm constantly sipping on water. I usually drink a considerable amount of water when I'm smoking a cigar, just because I like to keep my palate wet or damp, or I just like to keep it flushed and ready to go for each puff. But I'm drinking a lot of water because of how dry the cigar is for me. The draw is still real nice too, and I'm getting like a bitter chocolate cocoa kind of flavor from the wrapper, which is nice. It's not something I get very often, or that I notice very often, but so far, the first third's going well. So I'm going to sit back a little and work my way into the second third, and be back to discuss this some more. Welcome back. As you can see, we're getting into the second third of the cigar now, and it's performing very well. It's putting a lot of smoke off, the resting smoke. There's quite a bit of it. It really fills the room kind of fast. It's not really offensive. It's not bothering me at all. It's just a lot of it. It's burning pretty even. The burn line varies a little bit, but it's again just like last week, or like the review for last week. It's actually the following day. I've got a big draft coming through the window, so I'm getting a little bit of variation coming in on the burn. With the air hitting one side and not the other. The draw is still real free. It's nice. The finish is still dry. It's really getting me in the back of the throat. It's more dry than I would really prefer. The volume of smoke is really good. It's really pumping out the smoke, which is nice. I really like a cigar that does that. The base flavor is still woody, but it's got like a salty flavor to it and a sweet flavor to it. It's like a sweet and salty mix. If you ever had that, it's sort of the same thing going on with the cigar. Every puff's a little different. You get that it's a woody base with sweet and sweet and salty kind of undertones or aftertastes. And it's not bad when you kind of roll the smoke through your sinuses. I'm getting a peppery aroma, and overall, the cigars. Everything is nice with the exception of the dry flavor. I'm really not liking that dry flavor, but I can deal with it for the time being. So with that said, I'm going to sit back, smoke a little bit more, and we will be back one final time to kind of combine the final third and my overall impressions. So see you then. Folks, it's about time to wrap up my Bolivar, Lonsdale, and as you can see, I've got about maybe 2¼ inches left. Usually I smoke cigars down much further than this, but this time around, I think it's going to be a short ending for this cigar. Let's start off with the simple stuff. It's still putting off a lot of resting smoke, but again, it's really not bothering me. It's not an offensive odor. The aroma is not over the top. It really doesn't bother me anyway. The burn rate it's a little quick. It's about quarter to 12 right about now. So the smoke time on the cigar has been pretty good for me. The draw's been really good all the way through the cigar. It's still putting off lots of smoke, and it's still like a really dense, thick smoke. The finish is still dry, and that's one of the reasons why this cigar is going to end up being short for me. Yeah, I'm really not into this this dry feeling that I'm getting in my mouth and the back of my throat. It's it's just a characteristic of the cigar that I don't like, and it's something that I'd rather not push through and smoke the cigar down to the nub. I think I got my money's worth out of the cigar, so I'm only going to go a little bit further, and then that's going to be it. The body's medium to full. When you read up on the cigar a little bit on the internet, you'll see that it's claimed to be full-bodied and the most full-bodied cigar in the line. I think it's medium to full. I think it would be a real stretch to call it a full-bodied cigar. The base flavor is still woody, and you get a little bit of that sweet and salty kind of mixture going on, but it's not as much now toward the end as it was in the middle of the cigar. The flavor overall is not bad. It's it's like a dense woody flavor. It's not bad. But my overall impressions of the cigar are this. It's a well constructed cigar, with the exception of that one little void in what looked like the outer layer of the filler. That was the only real problem I came across. Now, it looked like the cap was put on a little crooked, but again, it didn't come off. It didn't cause any problems while I was smoking. So, as far as I'm concerned, it really wasn't a problem. The ash has been nice and firm. It's been a consistent color. It's not really crumbly or anything like that. So, overall, the cigar's constructed well. It's got some nice flavors to it, but as far as me buying another one in the future, probably not. And the reason being that I really don't like the finish. And it bothers me enough that I'd probably avoid buying it in the future. I'm not saying it's a bad cigar or anything. It's just not my cup of tea. So there's really no sense for me to buy it if I'm not going to like it. This would be the perfect cigar to have in a pub or a cigar-friendly bar, because the bar owner would want to make this cigar available to the patrons simply because it really dries you out, and you're constantly sipping on something to get rid of that dry flavor. And just think of like eating salty potato chips, pretzels, peanuts, things in that nature that really kind of get you drinking more. Just associate this cigar with drinking more, more intake, whether it's water, beer, whatever. You're just going to drink more because you get that dried out feeling in your mouth. Personally, I prefer the Cofradia much more than I do this cigar. I think that's a much better cigar. I like the flavors a lot more. I've smoked them considerably over the past couple of years, and I really like that cigar. I'm really not fond of this one. So really, there's not a whole lot more to say, so I'm not really going to drag it out. That's all there is to it. That about does it for the Bolivar from the Dominican Republic. But before I get out of here, I want to mention one more thing. I registered for a new website, but it's not really new. It's still in the early stages, from what I see. But I registered back in the end of April. Didn't have time to set it up and really get involved until today, which I did sit down and got involved a little bit more, and that is herfspace.com. It is the MySpace for cigar smokers. It's set up just like MySpace. You get friend requests, and you've got your own little blog, your own picture gallery, and all that other stuff. And it's pretty neat. So if you get a chance, head over to stogiereview.herfspace.com and check out the Stogie Reviews page. That's all that information that's up there right now is my information, and I'm kind of tying the site into it. And it's been fun so far. So, and there's a lot of regular community members in there. Dale's a member, and there's a couple other members from other cigar boards that are there. So anyway, definitely check out Herfspace, give it a look, and see what you think. And that about does it for this week's review of the Bolivar from the Dominican Republic. So As always, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch the videos. Looking forward to your comments and questions, and I will see you next week. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to smoke yet, but I'll fill you in somewhere. Maybe I'll put it on the Herbspace page and let you know what I'm smoking there. So, anyway, until next time, happy fall.